Hello there. We are live just a couple days after Thanksgiving of 2023. So, this is our Thanksgiving edition, even though we're a little past the date. My name is Karen from Salt and Sand Studios, coming to you live from Vermont, where it has snowed. Sorry I missed you last week. I was away in the fun and sun of Aruba. Excuse me. And today our focus is not surprisingly on thankfulness. This will be a slow flow. We're going to start off with some mindful breath work and a little bit of meditation on some things that we might be grateful for and maybe some ways to think about thankfulness or gratefulness. And then just as a heads up, the first weekend in December, which is next weekend, we will not be doing a live class, so I encourage you to use some of the other 100 plus recordings. Let's find a comfortable seat with a long spine. The hands can be wherever it's good, works good for you, so that you're making some space in your rib cage. So that might end up being on your thighs or in your lap. And if you like, you can softly close your eyes, or go ahead and cast them forward and down, so sort of beyond your mat and downward. We're going to start with mindful breathing, which is first just allowing the breath to go where it goes and being aware of where it goes. By doing that, of course, scientifically, it is said that we change whatever we're making ourselves aware of, but that's okay. If you happen to have a sway or some movement rhythm, no worries about that. The neck is long, the belly draws slightly in and up. The collarbones are nice and wide. And now we're going to add Ujjayi breath to that, especially for those of you who experience winter or some sort of coolness, cooling down during this season. This is a slight constriction at the back of the throat, not so much that you can't breathe, obviously, but a mindfulness and a flow of the breath, almost like it's circular, and it's making a little bit of a sound, almost like a wave washing on the shore. The feeling on the out breath is a little bit like fogging a mirror. So there is a sound to Ujjayi breath. So in working to create this sound, also work for breath of equal duration or maybe a slightly lengthier exhale. This breath is beautiful for when you're cold, whether you have run from your house to your car or the bus or you're walking and it's cold out. This is a breath that warms your insides, and by doing so, warms all the way into your limbs and your fingers and your toes. Ujjayi breath. Maintaining this breath now. Consider something that you're thankful for that you might not typically announce at the Thanksgiving table, as an example. Maybe you're grateful just for a practice of yoga, or maybe you're grateful for being able to breathe, which is a big deal. Maybe you're thankful for all the little parts of your body, or even the larger ones, that tell you when something needs to be paid attention to. So conjure up, bring to mind one or two things that you're grateful for, and then we'll sort of create a mantra out of it. I will consider and then share my gratefulness momentarily. I'm grateful for sharing the practice of yoga. I'm grateful for you for sharing the practice of yoga with me. I'm grateful for my quads, which remind me I need exercise. I'm grateful for sharing the practice of yoga. I'm grateful for you sharing the practice with me. I am grateful for my quads, which remind me I need to exercise. Now, if you'd like to consider an intention that is related to the general realm of thankfulness or gratefulness, or if there's something that you brought to mind that you would like to bring into your inspiration, your foundation, your intention for your practice, do so here. Now drop your hands by your sides. Tilt your head toward the right shoulder. Lift it up, tilt it toward the left shoulder. And take that again. Up, right ear, right shoulder. Up, left ear, left shoulder. Another time. Now, as the chin comes parallel to the earth, turn your head over to the right. Bring your face front and center, and then turn your head to the left. 2 more times for this semicircle you're creating that's parallel to the earth. That's 1 full time. And then again to the right and the left. Nose faces forward, shrug the shoulders to the ears, breathe in. Send them forward, release and breathe out. Rolling the shoulders up again. Forward and down. 1 more time in this direction. Opposite direction. Chin drops to the chest. We roll the whole neck and head over to the right, then toward the back, the left, and chin drops to the chest again. Take 2 more rounds in this direction. This in itself is mindfulness and a bit of a meditation on how the body is working today. Opposite direction. Noting that it's not about perfect or imperfect. There's no lefts and rights or goods and bads. It's simply what is. And if we accept what is, we can lean into it and make change. All right. Arms reach out, breathing in. Keep them here, breathe out. Arms reach up, palms press together, inhale. Stay here, breathe out. Inhale fully. Exhale, hands to the heart, breathe out. Come back to your intention or whatever it is you would like to be mindful about during the rest of this practice. Consider it here, and we'll celebrate that with the chant of Om. You do not, like anything in the practice, you do not have to do everything I say. If the body or the mind or the spirit is saying, hey, I need to do something different, of course you may do something different. Remember that I work toward a balanced practice. So the idea is if something isn't working for you, go ahead and adjust it or create a new version of it. But work to use the same muscles if that works for you. And if it doesn't, if it hurts, you'll stop. So chanting not required, you might imagine the chant of Om is riding out on your breath, even if it is a silent Om. Breathe in fully, release it, fill back up. Meet in a child's pose. A favorite of many, and something very joyful. And for some people, a wide-legged child's pose doesn't work. You can always place a blanket underneath your sitting bones or behind your calves. Breathing in, finding the stretch from the hip creases all the way to the tips of the pinky fingers. Breathing in, letting it go. Feel the stretch. Concentrate, focus on, become mindful of any place where you feel this that's feeling a little tight, a little devious, a little mischievous, like it kind of doesn't want to relax into the posture, and see if you can breathe into that space. Finding gratitude for that place that is telling you, hey, I need more attention. We're going to meet at a tabletop, squaring the hips up, feet as wide as your hips, knees as wide as your hips, wrists as wide as your shoulders. If you like some movement here, cats and cows or hula hoop movement or circles with your hips. Finding something that works for you. And then we'll start heating up the body, the big muscles. With some balance, the right leg floats away from the mat. Hips square up, right glutes, right hamstrings strengthen. Press the top of the left foot into the mat and then float the left arm in front. Just finding balance. Use the belly. We're going to take one movement of the knee and elbow together, really slowly round your spine. Inhale, extend. We're going to drop the left hand, sweep the right leg above the left calf, maybe peek over the left shoulder, and sweep that leg around as far as you can. It's outside your mat, the foot. The top of that right foot comes to the ground, and then we glide the front of the right hip toward the left heel. You might draw to your forearms, being careful not to put all of your weight on your hands or sinking between your shoulder blades. You should feel this in your left glutes, and if you're not feeling a lot or you have more space to play with, I say play, let's see how that works out. Tuck your right toes under and lift the knee off the mat. Press the heel away to the left and backward. Now I'm feeling a little bit more stretch here. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Breathing into that space that's saying, hey, you might be going a little too far, but I'm not in pain. So I'm just gonna let it hang out. Draw back to a three-legged tabletop, and the right knee draws toward the right elbow. Drop your head, inhale, extend, and draw your knee to your mat, meeting back in tabletop. I'm definitely feeling like I'm warming up, so I'm going to remove a layer. And that was only one side. All right, let's come back to the tabletop. This time, left leg floats out behind. We square up the hips. We power up the glutes and the hamstrings, the belly. Then the right arm floats in front. Left knee and right elbow draw toward each other, round that spine, push away from the ground. Inhale, lengthen out. Hand comes to the mat. Left leg sweeps beyond the right side of the mat, and then we glide the front of the left hip to the right heel. This side might feel different, looser, tighter, maybe more emotional for you. And if you like, you tuck the left toes under to lengthen that left leg with the knee off the mat and spend a little more energy, focus on the right glutes. We draw back to a three-legged tabletop, knee toward the left elbow. Inhale, extend, and the knee returns. I'm going to take a little different approach to come into a forward fold at the front of the mat. We're going to start by placing the left foot outside the left hand. Press the thigh into the bicep. We're going to do the same thing with the right side. So it's a bit of a high squat here with the hands on the ground. And we're pressing the knees or the thighs, inner knees, inner thighs, into the triceps. And slowly we're going to lift the hips, drop the head, maybe keep a bend in the knees, and then find a ragdoll in this wide-legged forward fold. A little sway left and right. We're going to work our IT bands, planting the left fingertips on the mat under your nose. You'll bend your left knee, take the heel of the right hand, place it on your low back, come to a halfway lift. Exhale, twist to the right, lengthening that right leg as much as possible. If you're not feeling much in the outer part of your right leg, you can bring your feet closer together, twist more from the belly than the shoulders, and or straighten your left leg. Right hand down, right knee bends. We take the other way. Left hand drops to the ground. Both legs are straight. Heel toe the feet toward one another. Take a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step the left foot way to the back of the mat. Runner's lunge just for a moment. Lengthen that back leg. Tap the left knee to the mat. Straighten the leg. Step forward, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Right foot comes to the back of the mat. Runner's lunge. Tap their back knee. Lengthen the leg. Step forward, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Rise to stand. Arms sweep up. We come back to a forward fold. Let's sunrise again, lifting all the way up. Arms to the sky, palms pressed together. Interlace your fingers, bring the palms of the hands to the back of the head. Kind of like a mountain pose, but with your elbows raised. We'll tilt to the right. Open up the elbows, open up the heart. Keep the left hand on the back of the head and drop the right. Lift back up. Right arm lifts, and then we bring it to the back of the head. Breathe in. Exhale, tilt to the left, opening up the armpits, collarbones, the heart. Left hand drops. Lift up, left arm high, right arm meets it. Palms draw together. And we bend the elbows so the fingers come to the nape of the neck or between the shoulder blades. Press your head back into the forearms. Drop your hands behind you, opening up your heart that much more by interlacing the fingers or hooking them. And then straighten your elbows. You're going to look down at your feet. You're going to lift up your toes and spread them wide. Bring them down to the mat, and then imagine you're grabbing a penny to lift it with your toes off the mat. And then toes lift up, make them wide, press them down again. Squeeze them toward the foot, lifting the penny. The other penny drops. Is that how it works? And one more time, toes wide, they come to the earth, really taking up as much real estate as possible. And then imagine you're lifting marbles or a penny up with your feet. Toes come back to the mat, lift up to the balls of the feet, strengthening the ankles, finding balance, breathing here. 5, 4, 3, 2, heels down, a chair pose, keeping your bind. Open up those shoulders a little bit more. Imagine the thighs are spinning toward each other. Grateful for the feedback that the body is giving you. Draw the belly in and up. And then we find a forward fold, keeping the knees slightly bent, if that makes sense for your body. Hands release, half lift. Forward fold, lift back to standing. Hands to your heart. Left foot steps back. We're going to find sort of a warrior one stance, but with an unbent, i.e. a straight right leg. So the left heel is really pushing into the ground. The feet are wide enough so you have balance. Distance enough front to back so that we can come into warrior one, but squaring up the hips first and then bend your front knee. So your ankle and knee should be stacked. Arms float overhead. Cactus shape arms. Come back into chair pose with your arms as is. Rise to the balls of the feet. Sink the bottom a little bit deeper. Bring the heels down. Rise back up. Hands to your heart. Right foot steps halfway back on the mat. Arranging your feet. You can see it's a little bit of a different sort of combination of flow, no flow. Grateful for the feedback from the body. We square up the hips. Lengthen the stance a little bit, bend the front knees, arms float overhead. Front knees, you only have one front knee right now. Cactus shape. Belly in, right glutes squeezing. Chair pose, Utkatasana. We're going to take a twist. Your hands can come to your heart if you like. You might simply turn to the right, or maybe you scoot the left elbow outside the right thigh. Inhale to center, and exhale, twist to the other side. Inhale to center for a forward fold, halfway lift, Exhale, hands plant, step back, high plank. Set yourself up for success here. Lower halfway down, low plank. Pause. Then find your back bend. Can be small, can be deep. And a child's pose. Into downward facing dog. We'll take 3 beautiful rounds of breath in your down dog. Down dog doesn't work for you, come back to tabletop. If the body says things are too much, you can always move back into child's pose. Hands walk to your feet. A forward fold at the back of your mat. Yogi toe lock. A release of the toes, halfway lift. Forward fold, rise to standing. Hands to your heart, Samastihi. We're going to find a little bit of additional mindfulness, gratefulness, meditation, bringing to mind something we've either thought about earlier for which we're grateful, or something new that you've just explored or realized in this practice. And we're going to mindfully and gratefully meditate on that as we slowly walk to the front of the mat. And we'll keep that in mind as we move into a mountain pose. Maybe rolling around on all 4 corners of the feet. Arms sweep out and up. Exhale for your forward fold. A halfway lift. Forward fold, runner's lunge with the left foot at the back of the mat. Really get nice and long and powered up. Left glutes, left hamstrings working for you. Left knee taps, we lift it. Now extend your front leg and fold over it. You shouldn't have to move your feet here. Inhale, runner's lunge. Open up the collarbones, grab your blocks if you need them, draw the belly energy away from your thigh. Left hand down, right arm high. Too much on your shoulder, you bring the heel of your hand to your low back or your hip. Big toe out of the right foot pressing into the earth. Using your inner thigh and your outer thigh to keep that knee straight. Right hand down. Tap your back knee. Extend your back knee. Extend your front leg, fold over it. Come forward. Runner's lunge. Right hand comes inside your right foot. Press the thigh into the tricep. Extended angle here. Opening up your left arm. A little bit of a balance challenge. Left hand down, bring your right hand outside your right foot, tap your back knee, extend your back leg, bring your left knee all the way down to the mat, untuck your toes, Anjaneyasana. Bringing something underneath your left knee if you need it. Oh, my left quad is telling me how important exercise is. So I'm going to find a little gratefulness for it here. dig in, lean into it wherever it's telling you you need to give a little bit more love, a little more attention, a little more mindfulness. Half split. If you have a habit of bringing your bottom back to your back heel and you have trouble with that, that's actually a harder route than simply lengthening your front leg and keeping your left hip over your left knee. Bring your right hand inside your right leg. Scoot your right foot back onto the mat. And point your right toes to the right. Place your left hand under your left shoulder. Maybe lengthen your left leg a little bit for a lizard twist. The pelvis is coming forward and down here. We're going to move into pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana, pointing the right toes forward, maybe scooting that foot back in a little bit toward the center. Hands to the mat, tuck your left toes, lengthen both legs, shorten your stance. You're in a warrior one back foot. If you like, grab your blocks to help you out. There's no shame in using props. For some of us, it actually helps us find a deeper posture because we're not preventing ourselves where the ego is concerned about injury. We're giving ourselves a little extra space to work with, a little extra grounding, bringing the ground closer to us. Scoot your hands and or your blocks forward of your right foot, then come into a standing half split. Left knee toward your nose and come into chair pose Utkatasana. Rise up to standing, hands to your heart. Nice work. That was a lengthy flow on one side. We're going to take it on the other. And maybe you come back to your intention before we move. So sweep your arms high. Breathe out for your forward fold. Find your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Right foot to the back of the mat, runner's lunge. Blocks if you need them. Tap your back knee. Lengthen it again. Extend your front leg. Come forward, runner's lunge. Tap your back knee. Extend it again. Lengthen your front leg. Runner's lunge. Tap your back knee. Lengthen it again. Right hand down, left arm high for your twist. Right hand down. Tap your back knee. Lengthen your leg. Extend front leg. Runner's lunge. Left hand inside your left foot. Extend your right arm. Right hand drops. Left hand comes outside your left foot. Back knee drops. Maybe you extend that leg a little further. as you draw into Anjaneyasana, your knee down lunge. Tuning back into the breath, mindful of the body. What is it telling you? Squeeze your right glutes, activate your right hamstrings. Arms wherever it helps you open up your heart. Hands now come inside your left foot, heel toe the left foot to the left, and then point the left toes to the left. Our lizard twist. Pelvis forward rather than down. Whole foot is on the earth. Well, the whole sole of your foot. Left hand down. Bring your left foot in a little bit. Bring your left hand to the left of your left foot and find your half split. I realize I've done this in a slightly different order than the other side. We'll cover all the same stuff. The sole of the left foot comes to the mat. Might need to make some adjustments to do that. Tuck your back toes under. Straighten your legs, bringing your hips to the sky, and the back foot comes into a warrior one stance. Parsvottanasana, our pyramid pose. Nod your head, shake your head, waggle your eyebrows. Scoot your hands and or your blocks forward of your left foot, standing split. Right knee to your nose. Chair pose, Utkatasana, last one. Rise up to stand, breathe out, forward fold, halfway lift. We'll do one more vinyasa, step back, high plank. Maybe your knees down for your low plank. Finding back bend. And a downward facing dog. Come to kneeling, cross your ankles, roll over your feet to come to a seat. We're going to work on some back bends before we get to closing the class. Soles of the feet on the ground, palms on your kneecaps. Lift your heart, lift your belly, shoulders, space between your ears. Arms out in front, lock them into your shoulders, and then super slowly pressing the feet to the earth. We're going to work with a straight back, a strong belly, a smile on our faces, gratefulness in our heart as we make our way all the way down to our backs on the mat. Arms overhead, big breath in. Full breath out. Now, if you have a tight lower back or your lower back gets tweaked, we're going to keep the feet, we're going to scoot the feet toward the bottom. You know, in the traditional yogic back bend, we work to tickle our heels with our fingers. We want in a situation where the low back needs a little extra love to scoot the feet forward a couple of inches for a more Pilates style bridge. Now you can always take a supported bridge here, but we're going to work into, let's call it 2 bridges, third back bend optional. You're going to tilt the pelvis toward the sky so the low back comes closer to the earth, if not touching the earth. And on an inhale, send the knees forward and the hips up. Scoot the shoulder blades toward one another. Lift the pelvis toward the sky. Full bottom of the foot on the earth. Lift the heart and breathe here. 5, 4, 3, 2, squeeze your glute, and 1, unzip all the way down to the earth. Press the low back to the earth. You can always drop your knees toward each other, but we're not taking a twist here. And breathe. Next back bend, bridge, or if you feel open enough, wheel, or if you prefer a supported bridge, you can place a prop, ideally a block, under your low back. And we'll take that one more time. Pelvis tilts upward, like you're using your tailbone as a pointer toward the stars. Low back works toward the earth. We keep that direction, that sort of attitude of the hips and the pelvis. And then we knees forward, lift, let the shoulder blades draw together, heart lifts, tilt the pelvis, hamstrings active. If you like a variation, feel free to take that here. And we breathe for 5. And when you're ready, bringing the back all the way down to the mat, and your choice to take a third back bend. I'm going to stay out of the third one. Finding your way into your bridge, your wheel, your supported bridge. And this time we breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Returning all the way down to your back. We're going to go ahead and cross the right knee over the left. Scoot the left foot to the left. Hips follow. And drop the knees to the right. Finding your twist with arms flopping out left and right. And maybe your gaze moves over toward your left hand. Nose points toward the sky. Left foot comes toward the center of the mat. Square up your hips. And this time the ankle above the left knee to find our supine figure 4. Chin moves more toward the chest than the sky. And the shoulders soften toward the earth. Both feet active to protect your knees. And maybe you feel this in the outside of your right thigh or your glutes. And we'll switch that up, dropping the right foot to the ground, cross the right knee over the left knee. Heel toe the right foot out to the right. Let your hips follow. You drop onto your left hip so the knees draw down to the left. Arms reach out in a T. Gaze toward the right if you can. And once again, the right foot moves toward the center of the mat. The spine comes to the mat. We cross the left ankle above the right knee. to find our supine figure 4. Or supine pigeon, same thing. And one final shape for your body before Shavasana. You might simply gather your knees into your chest, find a rock left and right. Maybe you take a happy baby. Maybe you make knee circles, perhaps a Supta Baddha Konasana or legs up the wall. So many beautiful choices for which we can be grateful to the practice. And all of those who came before us to find the route to preparing the body and the mind and the heart for things that are difficult when we are off the mat. Move your way into Shavasana. Where I will count down for you, even if your breaths are not the same cadence as mine. We're going to take a huge breath in. Let it go. Bringing back to mind something for which you are grateful. You are thankful. Something little or big or an aspiration, an opportunity. And we breathe. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Gently, softly, kindly, with gratitude, find your way to a seat. You might roll onto one side first or gather your knees in to rock forward and backward till you are in your seat. Hands to your heart. Close with the sound of Om. Release all the air from the lungs. Breathe in fully. Thumb knuckles to the center forehead with gratefulness for the opportunity to share this practice, with heartfelt thanks for you sharing this practice with me, and with gratefulness to my quads that remind me I need to exercise. We close this practice honoring one another. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for Yoga Intermissions. This is our 50-minute online, recorded and live. On Saturdays, it's live. 50-minute yoga flow. And try this at home, always. If you have the funding to donate and you would like to, you can go to our website, saltandsaintstudios.com, and find our donation link, and you can donate right online. Hopefully, I'll see you live sometime soon. Take care.